Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Tuesday, July the 30th, 2024. Tuesday, July 30th. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you can get notifications of videos. If you're watching me on from TikTok and or Instagram, please subscribe to this channel. Well, of course, Michael does stop Sonny from punching Kate. And he's like, look, he ain't worth it. He's only trying to goat you just so he can arrest you. And Kate is looking, no, and he's saying, spouting some more craziness about, Sonny. And Michael goes, he's not worth it. Think about Donna. Carly's already in there. We don't know what's going to happen to her. Donna don't need to lose you too. As soon as he said, think about Donna, Sonny kind of snapped out of it. And he goes, you don't have to hold me. He goes, but you're right. He ain't even worth it. And Kate is like, yeah, but he's still trying to say something as Sonny walks away. And Molly looks at him and Molly says, you know, you are definitely overstepping your bounds and you are completely out of line with what you are doing. And he looks down on her and he goes, you're trying to protect Sonny Corinthos. You need to give me the information I'm requesting. And Molly said, look, I'm going to say this to you one last time. You will get information when you go through the proper channels and submit the proper forms. So until then, this conversation is over. And she walks away from Kate, and he's looking at her. So now he goes into the court. No, he's standing out there, and the prosecutor is getting ready to walk into the courtroom. And he goes, are you the prosecutor from the prosecutor's office? And he goes, yes, I am. He says, I'm FBI, Agent Cates. And, I've got some information. And he goes, is it information about Miss Spencer? And he goes, yes, it is. And you need to know this before you go in there. So he looks, he goes, well, let's hear what you got to say. So John walks away with him, talking to him, and we're thinking, okay, he's poisoning his head, right? Which he was. So then John walks into the courtroom. We already have Carly. We have everybody there. And Diane told her, Carly, let me tell you something. After Kate walked in and he just looked and they all looked at him. So he just turned and went on the prosecutor's side and he's sitting there. Diane says, listen, do not look at Agent Cates. Do not glare at Agent Cates. Do not side eye Agent Cates. Carly says, Diane, look, I have been arraigned before. I know. And to mind you, Jason and Jocelyn and Michael are there. And Diane says, nonetheless, we all know how impulsive you are. Do not be impulsive. Do not speak. I mean, she just laid down the law. And Carly is looking at her, fine, okay, right? So now the court is about to begin. So now the court is beginning, and Diane, as the judge says, okay, we're going to hear opening statements from both sides. And Diane stands up, Your Honor, if I may. And she goes, yes, Miss Miller. I am petitioning that the court drops all charges. It is very, very questionable, this evidence. They never even submitted it to counsel. And the chain of custody of said evidence could be very, very questionable. So therefore, we are requesting that you dismiss this. Now, while Diane is talking, some guy walks in. And I thought, here we go. Here we go. Jack Brennan. Jack Brennan, right? He whispers in the prosecutor's ear. And then he sits behind him, and John Cates is looking like, what's going on? What's going on? So then Diane sits down, and the judge looks at the prosecutor and says, how do you respond, or what is your response to the defendant's request? He stood up. He said, the prosecution accepts the request to vacate this case. And Diane looked. Carly's like, what does that mean? And Diane says, wait, just wait. And Kate is like, wait, what? And so Kate stands up. No, no, Your Honor, I object. The prosecution has enough evidence to convict Carly Corinthos. And the prosecutor looked at him and says, for one, you are out of line. No. And he goes, you don't do my job. And Kate is in his face. What are you doing? What are you doing? And the judge says, everybody, counsel and FBI Cates, Agent Cates, approach the bench. And so Cates is looking, and he goes to the bench, and Carly's trying to listen. She puts her hair behind her ear, and she says, the judge says, okay, why are you wanting to vacate? And Kate says, it's out of the question. I have personally given him enough evidence to convict her. And he says, I said, just it, Judge. Said evidence is gone. It has disappeared and it has been wiped out. So we don't have evidence to convict Carly Corinthos. Jack Brennan. We know it's Brennan, right? And so Diane looked at him, and Kate says, that's okay. I downloaded an audio from the recording on my phone. And Diane looked at him, and then she looked at the judge. She says, now, Your Honor, talk about broken chain of evidence. We all know once things are downloaded on phones and devices, they can be cut and manipulated a lot of ways. And so he says, but judge says, listen, everybody, okay, everybody go back to your desk. So if they sit down, Kate has to sit down. And so the judge says, in lieu, and Carly, when Diane sits down, what's going on, Diane? What's going on? She goes, wait for it, Carly. Wait. So Carly sits back, and Sonny's looking, and Jason and Jocelyn and Michael are looking. And she goes, in light of the fact that the prosecution is dropping the charges due to lack of evidence, the case against Carly Corinthos is vacated. Do you know that son of a gun, Cates, has to stand up again? No, Your Honor, this is not right. And she looked at him, and Diane is looking over at him with a smirk on her face like, you idiot. You're not even an attorney, right? And so she goes, oh, Special Agent Cates, you are borderlining contempt of court. So he goes, but I'm saying, Your Honor, she goes, and one more word from you, and you will be in contempt of court. Because I guess you don't understand that I have just made a ruling. This case is over. My decision is final. And she hits her gavel. Cates is standing there looking like the lost puppy dog that he is, ready to throw a little temper tantrum. You know, you would think he's off of his bipolar meds, right? Judge leaves. Carly, Diane, Michael, Jason, everybody is so happy. They're hugging, and Sonny's just looking, right? So Kate comes over to them. It's not over. I know what you all have done. And Diane looked at him and says, well, it is over, and it's called winning. She gets out of here. So he turns and he walks away. And he says something snipping, whatever, but nobody's paying attention to him. He walks away. So they're all happy, they're all celebrating. And Carly's like, really, Diane, really? Am I free to go? And she's closer to the bench now, hugging Jocelyn, Michael, Jason. And Sonny's just looking, right? Can I go, Diane? She goes, unless, you may need to go by the PCPD and get some personal effects that you may have had when Kate's arrested you. But see, the thing is, she was at work. She didn't even have her purse or a phone, nothing when he arrested her. So, they're not going to show that anyway. So Sonny has the nerve. He's standing up closer to where the railing is. Then he comes into the area where, the lawyers are with the attorney and court reporter would be. And he goes, what's wrong with you people? And they stop and they look at him like, wait, what? This could have all been avoided. Had you told me, Jason or Carly, what was going on, I could have ended Kate's. I could have put a stop to it. And Jason looked at him and they're just looking at him. Because yesterday, when Sonny was saying that to Jason, Jason said, I tried, Sonny, but see, you don't let me talk, right? So they're looking at him and he goes, now it's a big mess. Now I'm still gonna have to take care of Agent Cates, John Cates. And he turns and he walks out the courtroom. And they're all looking at each other like, what is really wrong with him? You guys know what's really wrong with him. And if you look at each other one more time like you don't, I'm holding you just as responsible, y'all. You know something is wrong with his medication. Period. 100% hands down. And Michael even said, no, has anybody checked Dad's meds? And Jason said, Carly did. He's taken them. See, no, that was months ago. No, his blood needs to be tested, period. You guys? So now we have Anna. She's in DC. She's trying to get past the front, not even receptionist, the front, really, they're an agent. She's in the WSB headquarters office, we find out. She wants to speak to who's in charge. And the guy says, well, what about? And so she's like, I need to know what happened to Jack Brennan. He is no longer in Pentonville, which is a prison that I arrested and he was sent to. And my records, I'm a police commissioner. She showed her badge in Port Charles. Our records have been wiped clean. The prison records have been wiped clean. Jack Brennan never exists. And Dante had called the hospital and found out the hospital records were wiped clean as well, right? So if we are wondering who handled Carly's stuff, Jack Brennan, he has connections. I'm not saying he did it personally. He's got connections, right? So he goes, well, I'm afraid you being a commissioner of a town doesn't qualify you to find out this classified evidence, And so she goes, well, I used to be WSB. He goes, ex-agents don't qualify either. She goes, I am not leaving here until I find out what happened to Jack Brennan. So the office door opens, and who with his fine accent opens the door and says, well, Anna DeVay, you're always inquiring. Something to that effect. He said something different, but that sounded better. So, so anyway, she looks at him. He says, come into my office. Oh, Jack Brennan is back at the head of the WSB. And Anna says, wait a minute. How did you get here? And he goes, ooh, afraid I can't tell you that. She goes, no, let me guess. Since the head of pikemen has been discovered, and Valentine, what is Valentine Cassadine sipping Mai Tais on some island? Is that what happened? And then they decided to bring you out back as the head of the WSB? Is that what happened? And he's sitting in his chair and he's just smiling at her. He goes, well, I'm not at liberty to say, but could be. Yeah, could be. And she says, and then, okay, so then they scrubbed all your records out so that there's no trace of you. He goes, pretty much. She says, but I made a hard copy of your file. Now, remember, Anna's hard copy in that file was gone, right? But she's trying to bluff him. And he looked at her and he goes, man, do you mean I'm going to have the PCPD burned down again? Because you have that evidence? Oh, well, he's not going to do that. But, he's like, yeah, oh, well. So she goes, after saying, oh, you've gotten away with blah, blah, whatever. He goes, obviously you came here for a reason. What is it? She says, well, that reason was to find out what happened to you, but also there is a rogue agent in Port Charles, Agent John Cates, and he is abusing the badge. He is completely rogue and out of line. And I need him looked into. And so Brennan says, well, you do understand that the FBI is not in my jurisdiction or the WSB's jurisdiction, well, whatever, you all know what I'm trying to say. Good Lord. So anyway, she says, yeah, I know that. However, you seem to have enough connections across agencies to get things completely wiped out. And he just looked at her. She says, and I'm also here to let you know, Agent Cates is going after one of your friends. And he goes, really, who? He goes, Carly Corinthos. She's arrested right now and being arraigned. And Jack Brennan just looked at her. Mm-hmm. Like, tell me something I don't know. Or if he didn't know, as soon as he told Anna she needs to leave, he made one phone call, and within 3 minutes, everything was done. Because the next scene is showed the other person coming in, whispering in the prosecutor's ear. But honestly, I think Brennan already had it taken care of because he's having somebody watch Carly. Carly had already told him Cates is after her. Carly already said the FBI has a recording on me. So when Brennan had his stuff scrubbed, because see, the powers that be want him back in charge of the WSB, part of his deal was, okay, took y'all long enough to get me out. Fine. Because they wanted plausible deniability for him. While you doing this, handle this for my friend. And all that is a flip of a button. Click, delete, click, delete, right? So that was pretty good. I was so happy because look, they needed a quick wrap up with the charges against Carly. Now we're getting ready to move into John Cates' rogue activity, and he is more unhinged than Sonny is. And the beautiful thing with Ava telling him about the meds, he was duty bound as an officer of the courts to now bring that to light so that Sonny could get help, so that he wouldn't be a danger to himself or others. Cates is now an accomplice with Ava. And if my gut instinct is going to be correct, because, let's face it, Mara West is not leaving the show. As it's going to come down The whole med switching plot is going to fall right in Kate's lap. Now he's going to say, Ava Jerome told me, and Ava's going to come under some scrutiny, especially with Sonny and his family, because that's her MO, right? But when it's all said and done, even if Sonny hurt someone, this is all on Agent Kate not fulfilling his duty as an officer, as an agent. He's completely neglecting the whole, just turning his back on it for his own personal gain. And it's going to backfire on him to no end. And I can't wait. And Ava will be the first to say, no, that wasn't me. But she's going to have to get to that pharmacist. And let's see who the pharmacist says it is. But if Jack Brennan wants John Cates to be framed, they're going to get to the pharmacist first. And they're going to make the pharmacist say Brennan told him to do it. So we're going to see. That's going to be good, everybody. That's really, really going to be good. Minor note is Wiley's birthday. Wiley and little James is there. Wiley must not have friends because it was only James there. Should have been a whole bunch of kids from his school. Guess what? Wasn't there. Where's Violet? It should have been a kids' party. It's just two kids. So Nina shows up and brings gifts and she talks to Will. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward. Spinelli tells Maxie on the side, see, here's the thing. Why don't you tell her at home? Maxie goes, you told me kind of what you did, but you didn't tell me how you did it. So let's discuss that in public, how I did it. He goes, well, I can't do that. Well, you can say it in hypothetical opposites. Oh, I can do that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, come on now. So he ends up pretty much telling her opposites of everything. And she's, oh, whatever. Last but not least, Alexis talks to Molly. Now, Molly says, okay, Christina talked to you. I know Christina talked to you. And she goes, yes, I've talked to your sister. And they're talking in the interrogation room because Molly was at the PCPD wanting to see Anna to put a formal complaint in against Kate. Good, Molly. So she tells Dante, and she says, and you know what you need to miss. Sonny kind of flipped out, but Michael stopped him. He goes, okay, so there was no punches thrown, no assault. She goes, no, because Michael stopped him. He's like, thank God for that, right? And Alexis comes in bringing some paperwork from Diane to the PCPD, and she's fully reinstated now. Everybody happy days. And she and Molly are talking in the interrogation room, and she was saying, really, Molly? Serving her with papers right now to terminate her parental rights? How did you really think that was going to play out? Oh, you weren't thinking, right? She's like, because I know how that would play out. And you should have too. And so she goes, well, Christina, this, and this. And she says she didn't want to put all my personal business out, but you know as well as I do, she wants to keep this baby. And Alexis told her, well, you don't know that she didn't truly, honestly want to protect you and TJ's privacy. You don't know that, Molly. And Molly said something else about Christina. She goes, and you don't know that either. She said, well, a lot of the things Christina was saying, she was telling Christina, you don't know that. She was telling Molly that too. She says, now, I got a better idea. Molly's like, what? She goes, leave her alone, Molly. Just leave her alone. Give her some time. The baby is not here yet. Give Christina time. See, how, because she goes, yeah, but she could, blah, blah, blah. She goes, well, how well did you trying to force her to sign some papers work? How well did that work for you? She put her head down. She says, you know your sister. She says, when I look at you two girls, you two have so many traits from me. You got the best of me. You're smart. You're articulate. You know, she's saying all these great qualities. She goes, Christina, oh, she got the worst of me. She is like leaps without looking. She thinks she knows it all. She's saying all these things, and Molly says, "So you do understand all that?" She goes, "Absolutely, yes, I do understand. I understand. I'm seeing both of you. You're me. I see that." She said, "That's why I'm saying stop and take a beat. Let her." She goes, "Because if you don't, Christina will dig her heels in even deeper, and you don't want that." So Molly just looks at her. And I'm thinking, Molly's not going to do that. Molly's going to call her daddy, daddy. You may not have been here for anything major in my life, daddy. Not even when I passed the bar. You didn't even show up, but, show up for this. So we know that's going to happen. That's coming up. So that's it, everybody. That's it for GH today. Let's go to Comment Corner. Great. Oh, I'm out of water, y'all. Let me drink some Honor Palmer. Let's go into Comment Corner. Comment Corner. Some great comments. I'm going to try my best. Turn on my trusty dusty timer. I'm going to try to get through all of these comments within 10 minutes or less. Jackie says, "Today Tuesday show was like Cliffhanger Friday. Go Brennan. I'm with you. He erased everything, his and Carly's. Go Brennan." And once Carly finds out, she's going to have a crush on him. Carly says they are going to pick up the Sonny and Rick feud with Rick's daughter against Sonny's daughter. Yes, they are. Carly says Sonny would do anything for Christina. Michael or Diane should have asked him to check his med, or asked her to ask him to check his meds level at the hospital. He would do it if it would make her happy. Yes, he would. Actually, at this point, he's trying to get everything in Christina's good graces. He would go. And then Carly says, Ava is going to get blamed for Sonny's meds. At this point, she should, because she did have them changed to placebos. Yep. And then Wendy says, Jack is about to be my favorite. Good new couple. I know, me too. Jack and Carly. Jason's going to hate it, so is Sonny. Sonny's going to know he's flipped out. Why is there no one else paying attention to this? Kate is unwell. Kate is unwell. P. Merrill says, so proud of Molly. She held her own against Kate's. She did not need Sonny to rescue her. No, she didn't. Kate needed Michael to rescue his butt from Sonny. LOL. And then Lisa says, Kate is pushing Sonny by lying to his face, and everyone knows it. Even unmedicated Sonny knows that Carly and Jason would never turn on him. Kate is blowing up about stuff older than Molly is, talking about Karen and Stone. Molly was at Christina's home crying about her and TJ possibly breaking up. She was. And you know what? Molly didn't tell TJ the whole truth about the things she may have said to Christina. She didn't say all that. That is where Christina got the idea that they were breaking up. Having pregnancy hormones doesn't qualify her to raise the baby. Lisa says, Jason is right. John's boss do not know he's completely abusing his badge. That is so true. Jason has done what he was supposed to do, and Kate's messed up evening. Well, Kate messed up the arrest. He is lying to her big time, meaning lying to Ava, and she's lying just as much back to him, telling him about Sonny not being medicated, meaning Ava to Kate. She knows, saying she didn't do it. Now John has become an accomplice to it. Good. His law enforcement and legal bound to tell them. He is bound to protect and the community. Sonny is not on a percentage of his medications. He is on placebos only because of her. That's true. She is lying so much. She deserves to be locked up for what she has done. And then K. Rose says, I pray Jason is recording Kate's so they can use it against him in court. Remember, Jason said he doesn't, it's not his style recording people. Nakatu says, I don't like Christina. By the way, TJ was treating her through this whole, I don't like Christina, but the way Christina was treating her through this whole thing, as if um, I was her, I'd be thinking, if he's treating me this way, how would he treat the child? I think it's more plausible than saying the breakup thing, telling her what she can and can't do, getting pissy all the time, acting like he owned her. That was ridiculous. TJ was ridiculous. Jacarly says, I don't really blame TJ because at the end, he had reason to worry. He has grown up with Christina and he didn't have blinders like Molly. He did, what he did wrong was going along with her being the surrogate and using her egg to please Molly when he had doubts about it. From her history alone, I would never have asked her. Molly herself should have kept with the first instinct when she was asked, and she did not want it to happen, when she didn't want Christina to be the surrogate. Well, here's the thing. Christina still could have been surrogate, but they could have used somebody's egg, else's egg. But guess who didn't want to do that? Molly. Because it would take longer to get the donor egg and all that good stuff. Molly didn't want to do it. She wanted it now. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. TJ really didn't grow up with Christina. He and Molly are at least 6 or 7 years younger. Whole different ball of wax. And remember, there was a period when Christina was sent away to boarding school. There was a chunk of time she wasn't even there. Denzel says, at this point, Christina's really getting on my nerves and pissing me off. She isn't even fit to be a mother raising a child, and she don't got a job. The youth center that she created doesn't want her to have anything to do with it after the recording of Natalia, when she said about her daughter Blaze and Christina and the LGBT community. She just makes all these excuses. I just want, and just wants to keep the baby. Yes, she does. She wants to keep the baby for herself. And then she's talking about, I'm telling you, you can't make this stuff up at all. I can't wait till both Molly and TJ take her to court. Both Molly and TJ will win and Christina will lose. Look at her past relationships. That tells everything about Christina. I don't know why annoying Kate wants Jason to flip on Sonny. No, and he won't. Carly has finally put Jason first for once, but Jason is still not putting his kids first. That is so true. But Carly will come first. Shaking my head. Now, to that comment, everybody else go back and finish reading the rest of Denzel's comment, because he did add some more lines. Remember how close Danny had gotten to Jason, and he was that close to losing his father. And then one word from Jocelyn running in, and he stayed to help Carly. You know what? I think that's what's going to now be the divide between Danny and Jason. He's going to say, but yet you couldn't stay for me. You were willing to walk away and leave for someone else, but you wouldn't stay for me. That is what's going to, I think, and that's what Sam was saying, Danny will be so hurt. I think they're going to play it that way. Judy says, I agree, and I don't think they could. I think they could, but there could be a surprise baby from there somewhere. What about that? And wait, they could each get one. I don't think that's going to happen, Judy. Patricia says, I laughed out loud when you did the impression of poor helpless Ava. You deserve an acting award and should be on the show, Daily Recap Lady. You make the show interesting. Bet Ava blames Kate for Sonny's med tamperings. I bet she will too. And that's how she's going to get out some of this. LaShunta says Kate's bias and it's going to be his downfall. Buffoonery. What's Anna doing in DC? Now Kate's baits Sonny in front of Molly and Michael. Kate's is out of order. When Molly put him in his place, Alexis loved to remind Christina of her promise to Molly. It burns me up with the favoritism. It starts out Christina wants to help her sister, but Molly allowed TJ to be caveman on Christina. She bonded with the baby, and good if she wants to keep the baby because they treat her like that. She's disposable, like Carly told Sunny. I don't remember Carly telling Sunny that anything. She told her mom after she has the baby, she would be far away. What is, wait, it is what it is. Well, she did say that, but guess what? She was just a surrogate, and she would see him whenever Aunt Christina would be able to come around. I mean, come on now. And Lucy said, "Hello, Daily Recap lady. You're the number one source for all the soapy mess import chuckles. Thanks to for everything you do. You're welcome, Lucy." And Judy says, GH recap lady, you cracked me up. And Hello There says, I think Kate shot Sonny himself using Pikeman's weapon to set them up as the shooter at the Metro Court. By the way, he was later living in the same room where the weapons was originally found. And also, Kate is probably responsible for the recording of the five families. And also, five families. It will be revealed through the trial that Cates used Pikeman, there is no trial, to set Sonny up for his own personal vendetta, and Cates will go out in handcuffs. I bet Brennan is really an undercover FBI agent who realizes he would be dead if this would get out in court. Nope, we just found out today he is head of WSB. He was always head of WSB, right? Maybe he went into witness protection program. Nope, he went right back into his office. Last we saw of him, someone approached him in the prison saying they're ready for him. And that was that. Yep, they were ready for him to get out. And that is that. All right, everybody, that is past 10 minutes for the daily recap. Excellent comments, excellent comment. Mitts, I will be back tomorrow for another daily recap of General Hospital.